Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but their accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. Neither Peter J. D'Arruda or his guests are liable for the usage of information discussed. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Individuals should thoroughly review the contract for specific details of the product features and costs. Income payments and withdrawals from deferred annuities are generally taxable as ordinary income in the year they are taken.
Investment advisory services offered through Global Financial Private Capital, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Coach P Radio.
Hi, this is Coach Pete
from Birmingham, Alabama. This is Tad Hill.
And if you've got questions about how to safely and properly allocate your investments, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Financial Safari.
Broadcasting from coast to coast, it's the Financial Safari with your host, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach Pete and his guests are some of the nation's top financial professionals. They make it their mission to guide investors through the treacherous jungle of the financial world, showing them how to grow, keep, and leave their money for their loved ones. Coach Pete is a frequent contributor to Fox Business Network, CNBC, The Wall Street Journal, and many other news outlets. They come to Coach Pete for their answers, and now so can you. So stick around and find out how to make it through the jungle of the financial world on the Financial Safari.
And welcome everybody to the Financial Safari. I'm Walter Storholt, and of course John Stillman is here. Hey John.
Hello, sir.
And Donna Mason here as well. Welcome, Donna.
Howdy, y'all. Hope you're all doing good.
Doing great. And of course Coach Pete D'Arruda also in the studio today. Coach, good to see you once again.
Another great day to be alive, guys.
Absolutely. Coach, we all wish that we got the right advice. Right, Donna? Don't you wish you got the right advice every time you asked a question?
Well, we always do. And what do they say about free advice? But I found an article, and I think it's good because the title of the article is 7 Signs You're Getting Bad Advice. And I think this is as it pertains to financial advisors. So I'm sure that the first one should be if his name is Slick, maybe, you shouldn't talk to this guy. But the very first thing it says is they never ask to see your tax return. And I think that's one of the things you always talk about.
Yeah, the title in U.S. News, it's 7 Signs You're Getting Bad Financial Advice. I mean, there's a lot of bad advice out there, but bad financial advice. And the opening paragraph here in the article said, during the height of the financial crisis, a study compiled by Prince & Associates, which is a major survey firm, showed that 81% of investors with $1 million or more plan to take money away from their advisors. 81%. So, it's like Warren Buffett once said, it's not till when the tide goes out that you see who doesn't have a bathing suit on. Everyone loves their advisor when the market's going up, right? Except if you're one of those people with the market going up and your account's still not going up.
Sure.
But 81% in a time of need figured out that their advisor really didn't pay attention to them, Donna. That's an alarming trend. And number one is reviewing your tax returns with you. You need to have someone who does proactive planning and has a team with them. One of the members of the team needs to be a CPA. And also a certified tax consultant, a CTC, are good to have. These are forward-looking people, CTCs are, because what they do is they do what's called tax planning. Everyone does tax preparation. That's on April 15th every year. You become a tax preparer, either yourself or you go find one to get that tax return done. That's looking backwards, though. That's doing something. That's filing a form with the government talking about what happened last year, right? That's what a tax return is.
Exactly.
Tax planning is looking forward 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, or even 30 years down the road and saying, if you do this right now financially, here's the effect it will have on your taxes. Now, if you knew that something you were going to do investment-wise was going to have a negative effect on your taxes 5 or 10 years from now, would you still do it?
Well, no. I think you'd probably change your MO.
Yeah, well, one of the culprits then is putting money into an IRA or a 401k because you're affecting your tax rate in the future. You're going to pay more taxes because the money you're putting aside in those accounts is all going to be fully taxable when you take that money out. So you need to be very careful, and you need to utilize a Roth IRA. You're only allowed to do a certain amount of money in a Roth, $5,000 or $6,000 a year, so that's not a lot of money for some people who really want to save. There's something called a Super Roth where you utilize life insurance to save even more money. These are advanced planning techniques, but by looking at your tax return now, a planner can help give you advice on what you should do going forward to minimize taxes and increase the amount of money you have in retirement, because that's the goal. That's why we all save money. right?
Exactly. And so many of us are into instant gratification that when tax time rolls around, we take that $4,000 and we put it in to offset what we pay the government. And so it's you pay me now or pay me later.
You know what I call instant gratification?
What?
Gratisfaction. That's my word. But that's why it's gratifying to a lot of people to spend that money. And the studies have shown that it gives the endorphins in your brain to get kicked up when you spend money, and then they wear off and you get depressed because you spent money you shouldn't have spent. That happens to a lot of people. It's called buyer's remorse. We've heard of that before too. So number 2 on this article, though, was portfolio contains only one type of investment. Have you ever played the game of dominoes before? Everyone's played dominoes or played with dominoes. Have you ever stacked the dominoes up in a line?
Yeah.
Of course.
A big line, like you get as many dominoes as you can. You line them all up in a line.
When I was a kid, I'd have things all through my room, like windmills. And
You've seen those TV shows like that, right? What happens when you knock over the first domino?
Well, it's a chain reaction, the domino effect, if you will.
Yeah, and it all goes down. So if you had all your money in one place and the winds change direction and blow the other way financially, that's not a good thing, is it? And too many people have not looked at their financial plan like dominoes, and you really should. We've got a great experiment we do when people come into the office with dominoes, is showing you how you are allocated now and how you should be. Well, that's important. I think everyone needs a domino effect, personal calculation done on their situation. If they call right now, it can happen next week.
Yeah, absolutely, folks. All you have to do is pick up the phone and dial. It's 800-929-4077. That's 800-929-4077. You can also visit us online at financialsafari.com.
So I'm looking at number 3 here on the list, and it says no distribution strategy for your IRAs, which kind of goes back to what you were talking about as far as taxes, right?
There's a little bit of repetition there. You need to find out, of course, if you have a very risky IRA and you have one that's not too risky and not making much interest-wise, maybe it makes sense to take the one out that has not much interest. Because if you're not earning anything, you might as well spend it and give the one that has risk up and down a chance to accelerate growth. But if I have money in risk in a IRA, I'd want that money in a true managed account where you have a money manager looking after it for you, making the changes that maybe you're afraid to make and not making changes when you would be too scared and do things the wrong way. That's why a true managed account is very important, because it takes the emotion out of saving for retirement. We don't want worry, but we don't want to make emotional decisions either. So distribution strategy is very important.
What about number 4 on this list, Coach, where it says that you're working with a generalist? What does that mean?
Well, if you're working with someone who says, hey, no matter what age you are, call and we can help you. We're experts in it, whatever age you are, does that really make sense? I'd want to work with somebody. I mean, it's like when you have a special car. Let's say you have a Porsche, which I don't, but let's say you had one. If you had a Porsche and it had car problems, would you take it to a guy down the street who just says, we work on all cars? Or would you try to find in the phone book or online some guy or gal who specializes in working on just Porsches?
Yeah, or just like the medical field, having a pediatrician, something like that for
Absolutely.
kids. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just very important. And it's sort of like, generalist is like a newspaper. You open it up, it's got stories about everything. You really need a specialist when we talk about retirement planning. And there are some out there. And one of the things I recommend is you interview 1 or 2 or 3 before you ever make a decision. You really need to find out about the planner who's going to be there to and through retirement for you.
Now, along those same lines, what about working with a planner who doesn't have maybe the ability to offer you all of the options that exist out there?
Yeah, you want to ask the person before you sit down with them what they can offer and, more importantly, what they can offer. And if they have a square peg, round hole philosophy. If you're dealing with someone who just offers 1 or 2 products, every single solution is going to evolve around those 1 or 2 products. And the decision-making process that you have now is you need to draw 2 circles on a piece of paper. They need to intersect a little bit. Circle on the left should say things that matter, and circle on the right should say things you can control. And the overlapping thing about things you can control and things that matter, if your planner feels the same way, then you found the right planner.
All right, very cool. And you can find out more information about helping your philosophies align with your financial advisors on our website at financialsafari.com.
You know, some of the bad decisions people make, they buy too high. They buy a stock when it's been running up like crazy, and they decide to buy because everyone else does. And guess what happens the next day a lot of times?
It
doesn't go high anymore. Or they sell too low. They wait and wait and wait when something's going down, and finally they make a decision to sell the stock or mutual fund or whatever it is, real estate. And the day after they sell is the recovery starting to take place. So getting emotion out of the investment world is so vitally important, and it's easier to do when you work with a planning team you can trust, because you've basically taken some of the emotion out of your control and giving it to someone who specializes in that. And that's important.
Another thing on this list is weak inflation protection. Again, this list is 7 signs you're getting bad financial advice. Weak inflation protection.
And that was in U.S. News and World Report. And weak inflation protection is basically using hope as a strategy for an income plan. You've got some money put aside and you say, hey, I'm just going to start taking that money out when I retire and everything's going to be fine. But you forget to basically allow for inflation, because inflation's out there, and you want to make sure that you have a portfolio, number one, that will give you a lifetime of income, but number two, if you build it the right way and ladder it, that's a term that's used a lot in the financial world, laddering your financial strategies or products together. There is a way where you can have increasing income through retirement. Every 5 or 10 years, more income comes in, and then it's locked in and won't be any lower than that. So it's vitally important that you get your own income plan done today.
Absolutely. And folks, if you want to get that income plan done today, find out more information about it and get a copy of this article as well, 7 signs that you're receiving bad financial advice. All you have to do is visit us online and contact us through financialsafari.com, or you can give us a call, 800-929-4077. That's 800-929-4077. So glad you've joined us here on the Financial Safari. Stay tuned because we have a lot coming up on the program. We'll be right back after this.
The Financial Safari Radio Show features some of the best retirement planners from across the country and is your source for common sense information to help in your retirement planning. We pride ourselves on bringing 21st century solutions to our clients' retirement needs.
In Birmingham and surrounding areas, call Tad Hill, president of Freedom Financial Group, 800-929-4077. That's 800-929-4077.
Welcome back in, folks. Of course, this is the Financial Safari. It's your weekly show looking inside that complex financial world. And to make it a little simpler, it's time again, as we do each and every show, to check in with our local trusted advisor. And here in Birmingham, we check in with Chartered Retirement Planning Counselor Tad Hill. Folks, you can reach Tad at any time by dialing toll-free 800-929-4077. Donna?
Thanks so much, Coach Pete. Tad, how are things in Birmingham, Alabama?
Things are going great, Donna. How about you guys?
Well, things are going well here. You know, I'm ready for the cooler weather.
It's on us.
It definitely is. It's that time of year, football games, and I think everybody's looking forward to the holidays. Some people may not be looking forward to retirement, however, because it seems that what some of us have to look forward to in retirement is food and energy inflation, wage deflation, and then maybe 30 years without a paycheck. So what are we to do?
Yeah, we call it extended unemployment, retirement. And the thing that most people need to do is make sure that you have a plan and that the plan is designed to do what you need it to for your retirement. You know, that's the biggest difference between what we do as retirement planners and what growth specialists do, because I talk to a lot of people. They come in and I say, okay, you've been working with somebody for 10 or 15 years. What is the retirement plan that they've got in place for you? And normally the amount of information that's been uncovered consists of a risk tolerance questionnaire. So, you know, how do you feel about risk? Are you conservative, moderate, aggressive? Let's put together a diversified portfolio. You know, the term diversification gets thrown around like it's the panacea to all of the world's investment ills. And, you know, diversification can help you avoid problems if there's a specific stock or mutual fund that has a problem. But diversification isn't going to help you any if we're going through another market downturn like we did in 01, 02, or 08. And so the most important thing that we have to do is